Welcome to this very international-driven panel. I'm Patricia Travassos. I'm from Brazil. And besides, I talk about innovation in some of the main TV news networks. I'm sorry, I'm really nervous to do that in English because of my accent. But I think many of you are going to understand what I'm feeling, because I guess this is a very international audience as well. Who here is not from Estonia? Oh, thank you so much. I feel like better now. And I'd like to introduce you to Carlos Paniagua, who I'm going to interview. And I ask for a warm applause because you know, this guy is the founder of the 10th unicorn of Estonia. But he's not from here, right, Carlos? Carlos, the name. You are from Guatemala, and I'd like to talk about that because this is about building a global unicorn. And you are from Guatemala and built your business here in Estonia. So I'd like you to introduce your company to the audience and talk about your background, please.
Yeah, of course. As you mentioned, I am originally from Guatemala, where I lived 2/3 of my life by now. And but when I finished my education in technology, I wanted to go abroad and continue studying, and that was a dream of mine personally. So I worked on it, applied to different places, and one of the places where I applied was the University of Tartu here in Estonia. And I was lucky enough to be admitted. At the time, to be completely honest, I didn't know a lot about Estonia. I had to Google and learn a lot about it. And,
when it was? When?
That was back in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, 2009, 2010, yeah. So, things have changed a lot since then in the country. And one thing that is still there is the cold winter, which was surprising to me, to be completely honest. But, I had a couple of people who I knew from Guatemala who were already here in Estonia, a professor from Honduras as well, who kind of gave me a lot of context and information about the program that I was applying to, the life in here. And it looked super interesting to me, so I decided to take the opportunity that was given to me by Estonia and the university, an opportunity that I will be always grateful for. Being able to learn, to educate myself, to have a degree, and later to build a business. I think that's a lot, and as I said, I'll always be grateful to Estonia for that. During my studies, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of great engineers who later I convinced to join us in the company. And before coming here to Estonia, I met one of my co-founders, Dan Michaeli, back in Guatemala. He's from Guatemala as well. So we had the opportunity to work in a couple of projects together. Then I came here to Estonia to do my studies. He went on to the US to work and study as well. And we stayed in touch throughout the years, right? And when he was in the US, he met our third co-founder, Justin DiPietro. Mm-hmm. And they were bouncing ideas about starting a business. They saw an opportunity on helping people who are looking to purchase a service or a product online to have that high-touch digital communication. And they wanted to start working on that. And I think I was lucky enough that Dan thought of me as a technical co-founder, someone who can, build the first prototype of the product and whatnot. And I was still in Estonia by that time. I was about to finish my master's degree, and we worked together on this remote when remote wasn't a thing yet. Uh-huh. COVID wasn't, hadn't changed how we do work, and we worked remotely from the very beginning. And we got admitted into an accelerator in New York, the Entrepreneur Table Accelerator in NYC. So that was the first time I had the opportunity to meet Justin. I flew to New York, worked with them in a very small room, many hours every day. And I think that really gave me a sense of how committed we were to work on this, how we kind of fit very well together as a team. And it really, really inspired me to be committed and continue working on this with them. At the end of the program, we got some funding from angel investors in Demo Day. And with that, we had to make a decision, right? How we are going to invest this funding that we got. So we decided to invest it in building our product. We figure we're going to be a technology company. We need to have the best product in the market, and let's start investing in developing our technology and teams. And the question came up like, okay, where do we do that, right? And as I said, I met very talented engineers here in Estonia, saw a little bit of the direction that the country was taking to be a digital-first country with a lot of technology around. I saw systems working very well. So I suggested to Dan and Justin, hey, what if we try and build our teams in Estonia, in Tartu originally, because I live close by the university.
Because of the talents that you met there?
Exactly, yeah. I saw from university great engineers, great developers, Estonians and expats as well. So we thought that there was a real opportunity here to build a very strong team to build our product. And then we decided to start a team in Tartu. And organically, we moved from hiring 1-2 developers to 4 to 6. And at that point, we discussed it, and it just made sense for me to come back to Estonia and work with them on site. And throughout the years, we've been able to grow our teams more and more. And in 2019, we opened our first office in Tallinn, and we are, been expanding quite rapidly since then.
It's nice to hear your story because, we are from Latin America and sometimes we have like a kind of underdog complex. So when you go to the US market or to the European market, we feel like we are not capable sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I see you were so serious and confident. How was for you to be secure that you could do that and to be an unicorn?
Naiveness, I guess. No seriousness. I tend to agree with you that I think in our cultures we are sometimes overly humble. We don't talk a lot about what we can do and our successes. And I think like being abroad is one way to kind of realize that it doesn't have to be that way, right? That we are very talented as well, and we have our culture gives us an advantage, wherever we go. And small wins can help a lot, right? Like seeing being successful in the small things can help to build up confidence, and being surrounded by smart people, I think that also helps to build that confidence, right? Yeah.
And maybe also the environment here in Estonia, because, I've been here for almost a week, invited by the e-residence program, and we've been visiting startups and diving deep into this digital ecosystem, trying to figure out how and why you were such a successful ecosystem. And it's been really nice to find founders like you and to see this life the digital life that's going here. And sometimes you feel comfortable to create, or you feel like it's possible to do something big, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Estonia has a growth mindset, that they live every day. You can see it in the community. Despite being a country, quote unquote, small, size-wise, population-wise, it's been very successful in technology, and I feel like is rooted in that culture of pragmatism, outcomes, and a growth mindset that you can see everywhere.
And talking about our subject of making a unicorn global, you have your headquarters here in Estonia and also in the US. What's the difference between those markets and what kind of changes in your platform you have to make in each market to grow?
Right. I feel like having these differences in cultures can be very powerful, right? Because having different backgrounds lets you look at problems from different angles. You know, maybe consider things that you wouldn't consider otherwise, bring new ideas, new point of views, and that can really enrich not only your product but also the culture in your company. And at Glia, our diversity culture-wise is something that we're very proud of, and we consider one of our strengths as a team. And all that founded, in something that unites us as well, which for us is our values. You know, we have a set of values that are baked into every decision that we make, in every process that we have. We interview for culture ad, right? The questions are rooted in our values. So when you have those values as a foundation, and then you manage to create a diverse and multicultural teams, that can really be a competitive advantage when you are designing marketing strategies, when you are designing products, services, and whatnot.
Where are they from? Which nationalities you have in your team?
Oof, we are 20 plus the last time
Really?
I counted. Yeah, and
Wow.
is we 18 plus languages represented. So Exhibit A from Guatemala. We have a few Brazilians, Ukrainians, Russian, Nicaraguans. Yeah, and that's why I said that 40% of the team in Estonia is not Estonian. It's an expat. So I think that's very valuable for us. It's been.
Yes, diversity is being a critical subject in all of the companies. And if you want to be global, you need to have inside the company already this diversity. What importance for you, like to have those different perspectives of your product? Have you made any change in your product because of that?
Diversity is a big topic, right? And it's something that should be pay attention to, regardless of your company being local or global. We, as a CTO and in engineering, I'm seeing more and more a conscious effort in the industry to create environments that foster diversity, because that really helps you to come out with better solutions, and they can be baked into your product. And how you develop those products as well. For example, at Glia, we are doing a conscious effort to create interview loops, interview processes that are evaluating candidates fairly. We have an equity and inclusion committee in the US, that organizes events around diversity to educate us on the topic. And as a company, we are helping and sponsoring programs in Estonia that help underrepresented groups and kids to engage into IT career paths early on, like Code Joffy, for example, and Unicorn Squad. And this diversity can help you to really understand how people can use your product. In Latin America, for example, some channels of communication are more used than others, right? There is, in Latin America, or at least in Guatemala, from my experience, there is a little bit of distrust at times on automation and digitalization. And we feel a lot more comfort when we have the opportunity to speak with a person, right? If I'm applying for a credit card, I would rather talk to a person than to a bot, right? So these kind of nuances that kind of can drive how people use their product differently. And if you have a team that can bring those up early on, then that can really build up in a significant advantage, especially when you are looking into expanding your products and services into different markets.
Beyond the headquarters, do you have like a person to represent Glia in each market that you go?
When going back to the story of how I started working with Dan and Justin, we were remote essentially from the beginning, and what happened in the last couple of years has shown that we can build strong relationships, a strong culture, even by being distributed. But that said, there can be circumstances that will be helpful to have, someone on site that can help to build relationships, to understand the culture better, can be a representative of the company. So I think it depends on what you're looking to do.
On the country and the culture?
On the country and the culture, yeah, exactly. So for us, we are expanding our presence in Latin America, and one approach that we took is to hire a local person for some key roles, or a team of people for some key roles that we believe can really give us that boost, in capturing that market more effectively. So yeah, I think it could have some benefits at times to have somebody local or in the area or where you wanna do business.
The big themes of the event is inclusion and purpose. We've talked about inclusion and diversity. Tell me about the purpose of Glia. What made your investors believe on you? Because sometimes we see that the startups that have ambitions, they succeed more. If you have just a little dream, it's not that convincing. So how did you convince your investors?
All right. At the beginning, it can be very difficult when you are a first-time entrepreneur. When you're starting, you have an idea, you have a vision, but you don't have customers, you don't have revenue. You maybe have like a mock-up of how you imagine your product looking. So I think being committed to your mission, to what we're looking to do, to find a group of co-founders that you trust, that you can work with, that they have your back, and you want to go through the ups and downs of building a business as a startup together with. I think that is quite important, and because if you have that strong team and commitment to your mission, then you will be able to wave any storm that can happen. And I think investors can see that at the beginning. Later on, obviously, having metrics is definitely helpful. You can let the numbers talk. If you have a healthy amount of revenue, a number of customers that are interested in buying your product and getting value out of it, I think that can be powerful. And for us, that vision is to transform really how customers engage and support with their users in nowadays ways of communication that are more digital than before. So we are building this platform, the next generation of contact center communications, to make what a digital customer service a reality. This is a new category that we are creating. Products and services that will enable businesses to support better their customers, regardless of how they choose to engage with a bank or an insurance company, for example.
And after the pandemic, you just grew up.
The pandemic certainly helped. I think businesses realized that for having business continuity, they couldn't rely on one means of communication only, that phone or SMS, for example, and they had to move to a digital-first approach. And that was a great opportunity for us, because we've been working on this vision that we knew was going to happen, and the pandemic just accelerated it. Just accelerated a little bit. So we were in a really good position, product-wise, company-wise, funding-wise, to capture that opportunity, and that's what we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years. And that's a very exciting opportunity to have, because we can add value, we can help business to have to continue their business regardless of the pandemic, to provide a better experience for the users. And looking to do that globally now, like in Latin America and the UK, for example.
But the life of an entrepreneur is full of emotions, right? Maybe you understand what I'm saying. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I know my company has 10 years, and from the beginning I had highs, I had lows, and you were always like feeling that. So come pandemics and you say, oh my God, what I'm going to do? And then suddenly it's better for you. And now the problem, the global problem from Russia. So every other news can impact your business, right? So how do you manage, what abilities you develop to manage these emotions?
I feel like having a set of values that you can rely on is really important. And I'm not, it's a little bit of a cliche that companies talk about their values and they have it on the walls and whatnot, but I feel like you can, if you act on those values, they can be very powerful to guide you in situations like this one, and rely on the strength of the team to make decisions driven by the values of the company. And and what happened in February, what we did as a company, as a team, really showed those values because we engaged, with everyone in the company, making sure that everyone who was affected by the conflict had the support they needed, their families, supporting mental health programs, sponsoring some relocation of people relocating to different places, making sure that everyone felt safe and it was safe. And Gleaners, our team members, they self-organize and create initiatives to support their colleagues, to support their families. And that was really great for me to see because it was not only quote-unquote top-down from the company having these initiatives to support them, but the team themselves, stepped in, and helped each other. So that was wonderful for me to see.
I know that there are many startups leaders here. What would you recommend for someone who has a startup or a company to internationalize or to grow in other markets? Is there a step-by-step what you should do first?
Yeah, I wish there would be like a recipe that can just follow. But I think it depends. There are so many variables, so many nuances and specifics for each type of business that is very hard to put like in a step-on-step process. Something that has worked well for us is to kind of test the market, get a few customers, validate our assumptions and ideas, and then adapt our messaging, adapt our customer acquisition strategies, onboarding strategies, and then from there scale, right? And that's what we're looking to do right now in Latin America, for example, where we already have a presence. And now it's about the scaling that up. So that's one aspect. From the technology perspective, at least in our business, in highly regulated industries, there are something that you need to take into account. Like if you're going to do business in Europe, you need to worry about GDPR, right? If you're in the US, the equivalent will be like a CCPA kind of framework, regulatory and security frameworks that can be limiting factors depending on the business that you are in. And can really block you from entering a new market. And sometimes products, they make sense in one geography and they don't make sense in another. Like in the US, a company that helps people to file their taxes can be very successful. In Estonia, I don't know if they will have many customers because the process is very simple here. It's a couple of clicks and then you're done, compared to other places where speaking from my own experience, can be a lot more difficult to do.
But what I found interesting here in Estonia is because the startups here from the very beginning, from the day one, they are thinking about going abroad. And in Brazil, we start a startup and we wait to be strong there in our market, and then we start thinking about going abroad. So it's interesting, and there's no recipe, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there is like a step-by-step process. I think you need to read the environment, you need to understand your business, and move from there. Maybe start small, experiment a little bit, and then iterate. Take the lessons learned, put them back into your processes, into your product. It can be something as simple as if you use only support Spanish for your language, when I go to the US, right? You need to do a lot of changes to support English or any other language. And I agree with you that in Estonia that's a challenge, but it's at the same time an opportunity that entrepreneurs need to start thinking global from the start, right? They can not design a platform only for the Estonian market because they will hit a ceiling very quickly, especially if they are successful. So I think that forces you to look in a broader landscape. Yeah.
Well, people, does anybody has any question for him to help me to do this interview? No. I'm not. I have a mic going over there. Yeah.
Hello, Carlos.
Hi.
It's a simple question. Now that you've covered this journey, do you think that there was a difference because you started in Estonia? Would it have made a difference if you were in Guatemala? Or it would be the same?
It wouldn't be the same at all. I feel like that decision that we made with that adjusting or setting roots in Estonia from the very beginning is one of those decisions that completely changes the trajectory of the company. I don't know if it will be better or worse. It will be definitely different. And I personally love Estonia. I really like living here, working with the team here. They made a reference at the beginning that I love the communication style, and that is true. So I feel like there are so many advantages provided by the ecosystem, by the environment, by the government that really helped us to bootstrap our offices here, to hire people. It's still being helpful, relocating talent, world tech talent to Estonia to work with us. Is something that is quite unique of the ecosystem here, which probably we wouldn't have in any other place.
Where are you from?
I'm from India.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Guatemala must be jealous because this unicorn is Estonian, huh?
Yeah, Estonian for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you have two founders from Guatemala, right? And the third
Dan and
is
myself, and Justin is from the US, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what change made to have this title of unicorn? Did it change anything in your business?
I think just we are more committed than before. We are excited to have this opportunity to take our platform, to take this yes beyond the US and Canada. Again, we already have customers in Latin America, and I think we are really excited about the opportunity that we have in front of us. We have an amazing team, we have a great product, and we have a sound marketing business strategy. So I think more than anything, I'm more committed than before and super excited to what's to come. Yeah.
Any other questions? Please. Do you have a mic?
No, but I'm so close to the stage, maybe I can project more.
Just for the live stream.
So my question is, if you could do everything like all over again, what would you change in your process of opening Glia?
Good question.
Right. I think it's a very hard question to answer because every decision that we made, right or wrong, has taken us here. So, speculating what will be different is very hard. Imagine it's been 10 years of micro decisions, big changes. The circumstances today are not the same as they were 10 years ago. The country, Estonia, has changed quite dramatically. Even though there was a good community of startups 10 years ago, now is exponentially bigger, and there is a lot more capital around. There are more entrepreneurs and whatnot. So I think that's an interesting exercise to go through, but it's not an easy one. So giving you an answer in a couple of minutes will be a bit unfair. But we are here because of the decision that we have made, and for better or worse, they have worked out. So, yeah.
No regrets.
No regrets at all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I'm asking then, if anybody wants to say something, please let me know. What are your plans now?
Our plans?
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before, we're quite excited to continue expanding our business to different geographies, Latin America and the UK, and to add value to financial services in different countries. Yeah, those are our plans. That's what we are looking to do in the next few months.
But after these last investments, you're going to grow like your team as well. How many people you are working with now, and how large are you going to be?
No, we have been working very hard and been lucky to double the size of our business and our headcount in the last few years, and that's what we're looking to do again. Yeah, in the next 12 to 18 months.
And what kind of talents are you looking for? Maybe it's good for the audience here.
Different types. There are so many opportunities right now, and that's kind of one exciting part of growing quickly, because new opportunities open up, new roles happen, and that help us to grow our team, the people who is already part of the company, but also welcome, world-class talent to continue helping us to continue building Glia. So from my side, I can say we are hiring engineers, and we are looking for BDRs, designers, technical writers, product managers, you name it. So I think it's quite exciting time to join right now. So please go to our careers page, check it out, and apply. We'll be happy to have a chat with you all.
It's been more difficult to hire these last years after this remote way of working.
Interestingly, no. It actually has helped, because in the US, for example, we moved to be remote first, and what happens is that it opened up a big talent pool, that we could reach. By now, the entire team in the US is distributed, so we have Glianers all across the country. And as I said, it just kind of unlocked a whole new pool of candidates and smart people that we welcome to our teams.
Any question, please? No? Yeah, should we finish? I don't know.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. So I would happily listen to you for hours, but yeah.
Okay.
But if you have more questions, please come to our booth. Our team will be happy to have a chat with you, give you a demo, and I'll be around for a bit longer too.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Really appreciate
a warm applause again for him.